All right, we are going to show you how to lay out for the arch project, and you will have this sheet of paper, instructions, and we're going to be going through these instructions one step at a time. This is only part one. Part two, we will actually take to the scroll saw. The tools we're going to be using right now, the pencil, the ruler, divider, eraser, and tri-square. We have those things out here, and we don't have an eraser, but hopefully we won't make any mistakes. Okay, so our first step is to take the ruler and our pencil, and we're going to mark out the center of this block of wood. This block of wood is 16 centimeters long, so we can mark the 8 centimeter mark. Now we take the divider, and we are going to use the divider, and we're going to have the divider set at 8 centimeters. So let's check to make sure that it's 8. So we put it on one side and the other. Good, it's set. And if we need to adjust it, there's a little knob. We'll do that in a second, you'll see. So we're going to set the divider on our center point, and don't push too hard because we don't want it to fall off the edge. And then we're going to gently score a semicircle. Twist. I'm going to keep it down at the center point. And if you have to do this a couple times, you can. Go back, go over top. And if there's a little knot like here, that's all right, we'll work through it. Another thing we could do in the design phase is we could take the knot and flip it upside down, take the whole piece of wood, but we'll work with it the way that we've got it now. All right, so now you can take your pencil and trace over the center line, or sorry, our outer circle, just so we can see it better. And if you've scored it deep enough, the pencil should more or less follow our score lines. It doesn't have to be super bright or super visible, just so we have something there to see. All right, great. Now our next step, step 3, we're going to change the radius on our divider. So we're going to hold the sharp ends, carefully don't poke yourself, hold them together, and we're going to squeeze them and then change the little knob. And we're going to set this now to 4 centimeters, so we're going to compare it to our ruler, see how we did. And we can start at 2 and add to 6 instead of trying to go from the edge. You could go from the edge as well, but it's also sometimes easier when both of the numbers are on, and that looks pretty good. So now we're going to take it back to our piece of wood, find our center, and we're going to again score gently, twist it. Make sure when you're twisting this that you have it on a bit of an angle. It usually makes it a little easier. And make sure you don't accidentally squeeze it, because that would change the radius of your semicircle. Right, and then you can trace the lines like we did previously. And if it's a little bit off, don't panic, because we will have our eraser and we can adjust that. All right, next step. Step 5, we're going to take our ruler now, and we're going to hold it on the left and right sides consecutively. We're going to measure 4 centimeters and then 2 centimeters plus that. So instead of moving our ruler, we'll just mark 4, or if you flip the ruler around, we'll start at 6, and we'll count 4, which puts us at the number 2 there. And then we want 2 beyond that, which puts us at 0. And so that here on our plan is going to be these markings here between E and I, and between I and H. So let's see on the other side. So there's 6, so 6 minus 4 is 2. And we'll go at 0, which is right at the end of the ruler. All right, and now we are on step number 6. We're going to use the dividers to locate the center, or the equidistant points between B, C, and D. So we're going to take our dividers. Oh, we missed one step. So we have to draw this line here between F and B. And if we want to do it, we can use our ruler, or we can use our tri-square, which gives us a nice 90-degree angle. We'll do that on both sides, and we can also do the upper brick as well. Yeah, we got that knot to contend with here. Notice how the tri-square is flush along the edge. Should give us a 90-degree angle, assuming that your line was cut correct. Your line on the right side was cut correctly. So if it's a little bit off, it's not a disaster. Okay, so there's our lines. So we have these intersection points. That's going to be our key point here. So on our drawing, that's between I and E. So we're going to locate that on either side, doesn't matter. And then we're going to try and find equidistant points. So we're going to take it and spin it, or you're going to make it a bit bigger, sure. We're going to do some guesswork. So we want to dance across the semicircle and try and end up on our other side. So there we go. So we've hit one point, turn, and turn one more time. And you can see that we've gone past the intersection point that we want. So we're going to make it a bit smaller and start again at our other side. Now this process is an iterative process. We try and try again. Now for the purposes of our experiment, let's just look at the paper if you want, and we'll try and get it a bit more exact so we know what we're close to. So it's just a little bit off. You can do this as well. It's pretty close to our intersection point there. Good, so let's take it onto the block of wood. And we're going to dance it across. So we put it in one spot, spin, locate, spin, and do we meet our point? Almost. We need to do like the tiniest close. Yeah, not even that was too much. So let's try again. So this is what I say, this is an iterative process. Once we have the correct spots, once this is equidistant, oh, that looks exact, hey? Exact. So what we're going to do is we're going to push down on the spikes into the wood so they actually make a bit of a mark, and then we'll spin it and mark the next one. Mark that, push it down, and then spin it and finish with marking the last one. Push down. There we go. Now we can put the dividers aside and grab our pencil and our ruler. And this is step 7 here. We're going to actually draw these lines through the center and through each of these circle cross points. So there's the center. This is a bit tricky. If you want, you can get someone to help you hold them. You can see the 2 points that we're drawing the line through, and we're only drawing the line through the semicircle part, not all the way. Whoops, a little too far there. That's why we have the eraser. Okay, so we're going to do the next one. And for this one, this capstone, you can see it goes all the way off the edge of the wood. So we're going to start at the edge of the wood and just go down to that inner semicircle. Stop there, good. Next one, also off the wood. Make sure you're through the center. And just to the semicircle, whoops, too far. We'll have to find an eraser. It's okay. And last one, just through the outer circle to the inner circle. There we go. All right. So we don't want this extra line to mix us up with the lines between J and K. So what we can do is we can just take our pencil and just put a little scratch through those 2 lines on the inside. So we know, just like a zigzag scratch. So yeah, we'll scratch it out. And then we know we gotta erase that later. Okay. Or we can go like this. And just leave like that. All right. Now we are on step number 8. This is the last part. So we're going to draw the lines for the J and K. So the first thing you have to do, you notice there's a 1 centimeter mark right there. So we're going to draw a line with the tri-square up the center point. And this is just going to be like a light line just to give us a guide mark. All right. Okay, and there it is in the center, and we're going to measure 1 centimeter on either side of that. Sorry, half a centimeter on either side. So set it at half a centimeter, and it doesn't matter where it is as long as you're doing half a centimeter. So you could do half of 2, looks like here, or you could do half of 5. As long as you're doing one side and the other. You just hold the ruler there after your hand gets out of the way. Okay, so you can see that that is marked half a centimeter on either side of our line. Perfect, so we're going to turn the ruler, and now we're going to draw through our center again. And we draw our diagonal lines. You can see that's going to be the line for K, and then we have our line for J. Then the last thing we can just do freehand is at the bottom here is a little diagonal line, like 45-degree about, and it's coming off. We just need a little angle right there, and when we get this actually cut, we'll be able to adjust that if we need to make it bigger or smaller. Okay, before we do anything else, we need to label our parts, so match the letters as they are on the drawing, and then we will get around to cutting this. We're going to think about the steps that we need to take in order to cut. When we do cut everything, you'll need to make sure each piece has your initials on it, as well as the part label, and you will also need to keep all your pieces together in a paper bag. So now that this is ready to go, we will head over to the scroll saw and start cutting this out.